Hey sis, welcome back to the better version. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, some of you may not be aware, but I actually have an account on TikTok, and the videos that I do there are so different from the videos that I do here on YouTube. And so today, I've put together a compilation of videos that I've done over the last few years to share with you. And especially towards the end, I share a personal testimony that was exclusively for TikTok, but now you get to hear it. And I pray that this testimony blesses you in every single way possible. It's about having faith and trusting God in the difficult times and how He walks you through the process from beginning to end. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've been asked this question quite regularly about this mark underneath my left eye. May not see it as clearly now, but you've seen it in all my past videos where I'm not wearing my glasses. This is my birthmark. So no, I didn't get into a fight. No one's abusing me or punching me. I've had these kind of questions before, but it's a birthmark. Now, when I was younger, I hated this thing. Hated it. But as I grew older and understand that I am wonderfully and fearfully made by God, this to me is a badge of honor. This is to let you know that I can see, not only with my physical eyes, but with my spiritual eyes as well. And this is a mark to signify the wisdom and insight that God gives me all the time so that I can share with all of you. So yes, I'm not sorry about it. I don't hate it anymore. As a matter of fact, I love it. I embrace it. And I want you guys to embrace the things that you may not think are so pretty right now, but they're there for a reason. And I want you to see beyond the immediate and know that this is a badge of honor and it is a special mark for you, no one else. Here's another nugget that I want to share with you guys that really changed my life because I used to suffer from this stuff. Be slow to speak. Don't have verbal diarrhea. When people ask you questions, think twice before you speak. Because sometimes when people are asking you questions, they're asking for the simple fact of wanting to collect information versus genuinely being interested in you or what you've got going on. Now, I've spoken about this before, but I'm just going to remind you all again. Be slow to speak. And sometimes it's even best to answer a question with a question, because then you know what the person's intentions are. So I used to suffer from verbal diarrhea, and I would just talk, not realizing that people were collecting data, intel on me, and not just because, they want to use that data to help me out or for the greater good, but for when it was an opportune time, they could use this data against me. They could use this intel to set me up. And here I am just running my mouth like water. So be slow to speak. Ask questions or answer questions with questions. And let the truth reveal itself before you even reveal a darn thing. Okay, so once you feel like you've mastered not speaking, right? Just not having verbal diarrhea, I want you to take it to the next level, because when people hear, oh, don't be quick to answer, don't be quick to give information, they're thinking about just random people. No. Next level right now is be careful who you pick and choose to share information with, right? Again, it's not about strangers. The enemy uses people who are close to you 95% of the time to create delay, to cause disruption, to plant seeds of doubt, all of that. I'll give you an example. So, back at the end of last year, I bought a guitar for my birthday. I've always wanted to learn how to play acoustic guitar. So I invested in myself. Now, only a handful of people know that I have this guitar. But since I've had this guitar, I've been questioned every now and then. Oh, so how are the guitar lessons going? Oh, you still playing the guitar? Oh, whatever the question is leading to the guitar. And my thing was, oh, all right, got it. Lesson learned immediately. Just shut up and do what you need to do. And I'm encouraging you guys to shut up and do what you need to do. And I'm not saying this to be harsh or cruel. You got to understand how the enemy works. Everything is spiritual. And I hope that you guys are opening your eyes to that and understanding that. And so, am I upset with the people who are questioning me about whether or not my guitar skills are up to snuff, or have I practiced, or did you play your guitar today? No, I'm not upset with them, because I have insight to understand that the enemy is using them to discourage me from playing, to discourage me from progressing. I don't think that I'm going to end up in a country band or a rock band anytime soon. No, I'm doing this for the simple pleasure of learning. The enemy doesn't like this. The enemy doesn't bother you unless you're doing something good, right? You're doing something progressive. So, no, I'm not upset with these people for questioning me about whether or not I'm advancing in my skills. But the point of the matter is this: I should be slow to even speak to the people that I care about, because they can be used by him to discourage me. So I just wanted to share a little nugget about your goals, about the things you feel that you are called to, especially if God has called you to them. Really stand on business when it comes to that stuff. Like stand 10 toes down on your goals, on your calling, because things will always be sent your way to detour you, to just distract you from the task at hand. And I've gone through this, like even just a few hours ago, I was just there tested on this theory. So people will always come to you and tell you what they think you should be doing. Now, I've said this many, many times, that when you get a call from God, it's a one-on-one call. It's not a conference. It's not a three-way. It's not a Zoom meeting. It's you and him talking to each other. And so whenever someone comes your way, you really have to test that spirit, because at the end of the day, if it's something that's going to help you further your progress, then that's one thing. But if it's to make you look the other way, turn completely around, and have your back towards what God has called you to, or what you feel you are called to, then I would think twice. Because at the end of the day, like I said, people will always give their 2 cents on what they feel you should or shouldn't be doing, when it's not their decision to make, right? So people are naturally selfish. They'll naturally want to make sure that they don't lose you, or they don't lose access to you as a result of what it is that you're doing. And as long as you stay on the level that is acceptable for them, they will always be happy. But remember that this is your journey. This is your purpose. And people will support you, but there will be a majority of people who will try to distract you. And I want you to maintain your focus when you're doing that. Hey, good morning, y'all. Let me give you all some advice, okay? Just in case some of you haven't caught on to this already, especially when it comes to social media. Sometimes you gotta let people believe that they're right. Let them be right, okay? Because no matter how much logic you bring to a situation or to a conversation, people are going to see what they want to see, hear what they want to hear, and interpret what they want to interpret. I don't get in the business of getting in people's way of their own understanding. If they want to understand it incorrectly, if they want to misconstrue words, if they want to, skew something that you have said to make it look like something else, allow them. Just allow them. move on with your day, move on in peace, because it's not worth it getting all your emotions heightened and riled up. Some people wake up angry. Some people wake up with the sole purpose of disrupting your day. Don't let them have that. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. So, the last few days I've been talking about language, and, sometimes we focus on what it is that we say to each other. But today, let's focus on how we say things to each other, right? Because that really does make the difference in how people either react or respond. And so this morning, I had this very strange encounter with one of the moms outside. I wanted to ask a question, and I called her name, and she responded to me in what? No. That is not the desired response I was expecting. And so for me, there's two things that are involved. Number one, a lot of people wake up super angry, super aggressive, and their day plays out that way. And then number two, I've been there. And so my thing is this: I have grace for people who are in that funk, because there was a point in my life where I was in that funk, and I would wake up angry and I would be super aggressive, and my whole day would play out like that because I didn't recognize that how I'm feeling and how I'm viewing the world is going to play back to me. And for some reason, people are not getting that concept, and they're thinking, oh, the world is against me, everybody's against me. No, honey. It's your attitude, and it stank. The other part of it is, because I've been there, I have a little bit of grace. And so it's me saying, I get it. I've been there before. I understand how you're feeling. The third element, though, is boundaries. And I'll tell you something. That mom ain't never gonna speak to me like that ever again. Hey y'all, quick message here. Because I know that we encounter this every now and then. People who just love to be disagreeable for the sake of being disagreeable, not because there's really anything to disagree about, but just because they just love to disagree with you in particular. The way I handle this is the way I handle most things when I realize that people are being negative or contradictory for their own simple amusement. I leave them where they are. I don't fuss, I don't fight, I don't cuss, I don't do the back and forth. I used to. But now I realize that when people are dedicated to misunderstanding you for the simple fact that something within them just feels the need to be disagreeable or to be dedicated to misunderstanding you, just let them be them. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned over the years, is that you get to come to a point where you understand people and why they do what they do. And sometimes you may not understand why they do what they do, but the ultimate lesson out of all of it is to not waste any energy trying to change their mind or prove yourself to them or try to go along to get along. Just let them be. The one thing that you must protect at all times is your own peace. Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and you're having a great start to your day. So I just want to share something with you guys that in my time with God this morning, we kind of had a conversation, and I just want to encourage people to have those moments in silence with God, not coming to him to ask him for something, to relieve you of something, but just to be present. And I try to do this every single day. And in this moment today, I have some words that in one way or another, he shared with me in the spirit, and I just kind of translated that into this particular text.
And I want to share it with you because I pray that this encourages you not only to have your present time with God, but then also bring things that need more clarity for you. Sometimes we kind of go through stuff, we feel a certain type of way about certain things, and God provides that wisdom. He provides that clarity. And, it's not about, oh, come solve my problem, but more about investigating why you feel the way that you do in certain circumstances, or why you have certain ideas. So, like I said, I'm going to share this with you. I hope that this encourages you to do your own self-reflection, have your own time with God. And here we go. I've found lately that I'm coming face to face with people who feel some sense of resentment towards others and their success. And I have a few things I'd like to submit for your consideration. Number one, nothing is owed to us in this lifetime. God's grace should be evidence of that. Be grateful you're still here and still have an opportunity to try again, especially when God had the opportunity to say, you know what, time's up. Number two, we all have our own journey to travel. Our destiny helpers are not who we think they are. This is where we get tripped up. We think our families, our relatives, and our friends should help us. And in some ways, I understand the expectation. However, we are still imperfect people with our own ideas and beliefs. And sometimes the ideas and beliefs can clash. This is why our dependency on God supersedes all. Number three, we must all answer for our actions, big and small. Sometimes we forget about the things that we do or have done that aren't so kind to others. The way we speak to each other in the moments of frustration and anger has an impact on future outcomes. God sees all and remembers all. And at some point, we have to pay the price, not because it's to punish us, but to correct us. Give us an opportunity to see the errors of our ways. This is why it's important to repent for our sins, known and unknown. Ask God for forgiveness and replace our ignorance with wisdom. This way, we learn more to become more. I'm not saying that we'll get it right every time, but that shouldn't stop us from trying. Remember that the walk is to help us become more Christ-like, to live more righteously. It's the whole reason why Jesus came to earth, to show us the way, the truth, and the life. So I'm encouraging everyone to take time out today to speak with him. Let him provide wisdom and guidance in your situation and in your life as a whole. Sometimes our Heavenly Father just wants to talk with us, share his wisdom without having a problem to solve. Sometimes he just wants to be with us in total silence so that we can feel his presence. If it's been a minute since you've been in his presence, take this very moment to be with him now. So, I just feel like there are moments where we ask questions why, or we feel a certain way, and it can really tie us up emotionally. And I was thinking about that, and this is basically what came to me. So we find comfort in and relief in his presence. There's no need for us to worry. As children of God, there's no need for us to worry. We are, pretty much mandated to bring our worries to him. So, the way that we find relief is really to be in his presence, where he can provide not only comfort, peace, and joy, but also impart wisdom to us. And so that's basically the message I got for today. And like I said, I hope this blesses you in some way, shape, or form if you're going through something similar like this. There's a few things that I want to share with you that's outside of my normal messages, so let's go. I know the new year is around the corner and you're probably waiting to kick off everything January 1st, but I'm going to tell you, don't do that. If there's something that you want to start in the new year, start right now. So one of the worst things that we could say to ourselves is that I'm going to start January 1st, thinking that we have so much control and authority between
what's happening right now and what will happen January 1st. You don't even know what's going to happen within the next 24 hours. This was something I was trying to teach my team a few years ago when I was doing group coaching. By the time the fourth quarter came, I wanted them to really just shift their mindset a little bit in preparing for the new year. And, sometimes they would just look at me like, girl, we're like in October type of thing, why are we thinking about that? Or we're in November. Why are we thinking about that? We haven't even finished the current year. You thinking about the new year is not at the expense of the current year. It's about doing a real-time assessment and saying, okay, what have I accomplished? What have I checked off my list? What are some of the goals that, looking at what I have currently, are either achievable, attainable? Do I even still want these goals? Can I push them into the new year? Whatever those questions are. Also, when you start laying down the groundwork for the new year, by the time January 1st rolls around, you're already hitting the ground running. You don't start to think about the new year in the new year. That doesn't work. I don't care what business you're in, where you are, what you're trying to do. Planning ahead is always the best way to go. So listen, we got a few days left before the new year. What can you do right now, even if it just means putting pen to paper? What can you do right now? Small, incremental, simple steps that are going to set you up for the new year. Whatever those things are, do that. Do it now. All right, y'all, life lesson time, and this one is going to be a good one. Moving into 2026, if you're the type of person that is always fighting for space, always fighting to be heard, come January 1st, I want you to stop, and here's why. People more times than not tell you how they feel about you based on what they do, not what they say. So raise your hand if you've ever had a moment where you were trying to share information that you felt was pertinent to the person that you were speaking to. Or you were trying to express yourself in some type of way and you keep getting interrupted. Or you were trying to help someone only for them to completely ignore you based on their actions. Not so much what they say, but how they are while you're talking to them. So they'll be distracted by the phone, or they'll be looking up in the sky, they'll be looking everywhere else, but they're not present with you. Raise your hand if that has happened to you. First and foremost, do not personalize this, okay? Do not internalize it to mean that there's something wrong with you or no one cares or blah, blah, blah. I know this from personal experience. I used to internalize a lot of things, feel like everybody was against me, no one liked me, or I, felt less than because people would just kind of brush me off or interrupt me while I'm speaking. So let's slow this down a little bit so that we can get greater context into the different facets of why this type of stuff happens. So there is a place where people block you or interrupt you because they are showing you that they don't really care about anything that you have to say, or just you, period. Yes, that does exist. Then there's another aspect of people are consumed with what is going on in their world, and therefore whatever information that you're going to share with them right now, it is not on their priority list. And so those little tiny interruptions while you're speaking, or the dismissiveness in what you say, like those things happen because of that as well. Then there's the spiritual aspect of it, that if you have an important message to share and it's with someone specific, the enemy just tries to throw all these blockades so that you feel defeated. And at some point you just decide, I give up. So this is where I have a respect for social media because of the fact that it's so far reaching. And if you're a person like myself who knows that the knowledge you receive is not just for you to collect data, but it is meant for you to share with everybody else, because the life that you are leading and that you're having or experienced up to this point is meant to teach others, then these types of things here should not bother you, because you have a big picture mindset. And so that's where I operate from. And when I feel as though, hey, you know what, so-and-so would
definitely benefit from this because whatever criteria this message falls under, they fit the bill. Doesn't mean that they're ready and able or in a position to receive what I have to say. Now that we have this right here, this should be even more encouraging in the sense of, okay, well, I really felt like this message was for this person, but you know what? Let me just make it a little bit more general and global so that that the people who receive it or watch it can understand exactly what I'm talking about. This is what my pages are all about. These are little things that I would love to share with the people around me, but they're just not in a position or have the capacity to receive anything that I have to say. So if I've said anything up to this point that has resonated with you, then I want to encourage you come 2026 to just change your perspective. Have that mindset shift that says, okay, it wasn't working this way, but what are the other ways in which I can make this work? And let me tell you this, if you don't hear anything else, you have all the tools necessary to make it happen. The thing about it is that you have to be in a posture in order for the Holy Spirit to reveal it to you, or just life to reveal it to you, or to just be quiet enough in order for it to be revealed to you. We lack nothing, but you've got to be in the posture to receive. When you're not in the posture to receive, as I've been sharing with you as an example, it's hard to receive it. So if there's a moment between now, I know we're New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, all into January, that you can block out some time to really just focus on you and say, you know, where do I want to go? How do I want to get there? What are some of the ideas in which I can get there? And it doesn't mean that all of them will be able to be executed, but just putting them down, opening your mind to the possibilities is what's going to help you move forward, and move forward without resentment, move forward without bitterness. With that said, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for riding with me all of 2025. I hope we still ride together in 2026 and beyond that. But I wanted to take this time to say thank you for being a part of the Better Version, for being a part of this community, for giving me all of your feedback, whether it was positive, negative, indifferent. I received it all. And I just feel honored to be able to have not only the courage to sit here in front of my phone and share some of the deepest things that I believe in with you. But I continue to pray that everything that I share with you is to help you become the best version of yourself moving forward. So Happy New Year. Can't wait to share more with you and grow more with you in 2026. If you're going out, be safe. Please be safe. And I will see you in the new year. Peace. Grand Rising, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well and you're having a great start to your morning. Listen, testimony time. I just want to share with you guys the importance of gratitude and thanking God for every little thing that you have. Even if you can't remember what it is, God knows what it is. And just, to say to him, listen, I may not be able to list all the things, all the wonderful things that you've done for me and provided me, but thank you. And I'm just encouraging you guys to take a moment out of your day to do that. So here's the testimony. Over 10 years ago, I was living in a different part of Montreal, and I was living in an apartment that was really like more of a luxury apartment, but I was paying apartment rent. Just bear with me. In other words, I'm paying significantly less than what I would have been paying. So it was me and my ex living there, and we were there for a little bit, and it's in between this time that we had our daughter. As a result of that, we had to move because we realized that the space that we were living in was just convenient for both of us. But now that we have an extra person, we need more space. So as we were searching for an apartment, of course, you need someone to take over
the unit that you're living in. And so the proprietor was setting up meetings to allow future tenants to look around and see if they want to sign a lease, etc. You know how the process goes. The thing about it, though, was for what should have been a smooth process, the proprietor, who was once kind to us, all of a sudden had a complete change in personality. And I had specifically asked him, can you come at these particular times because of the fact that I have a newborn, I'm a first-time mom, all the things that come along with that, it can just, exacerbate the situation. So just to cut a long story short, he became very nasty. He came at the times outside of what I had asked. I didn't demand, I asked. And he came at the times outside of that, constantly waking up my child, waking me up. Needless to say, both my daughter and I were completely miserable throughout the day. And just that period was not really the greatest. And so I just prayed and I said, God, please take us out of this situation as soon as possible. I need rest. My daughter needs rest. We're both feeling really irritated and just uncomfortable. And of course, my ex wasn't there because he was at work. And so he comes home to misery. Not that we're trying to be miserable, but just as a result of what was going on. So, needless to say, just to cut a long story short, we started apartment hunting, and every place that we were going to, it just did not feel right. I was asking God, let me know which one is the right one, because I don't want to have a repeat situation happen for us later on. And so we found this one place in the last place I would ever want to look for an apartment, and that was on Facebook. And something just said, call, hear the person out, book a visit, and, kind of let the chips fall where they may. So we called, we booked a visit. We were approaching the place. It's in an area that I grew up in. And I said to him, I have a feeling like this is the right one. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And he's like, okay. I'm like, but still, we're going to go check it out. But if something feels off, then we're just going to keep looking. So we get there. We are greeted by the proprietors. Instantly, I felt peace. And I didn't say anything at first, but I just felt like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the place for us. This is the place God has for us. And we filled out the application. We did all the things that, that whole process of trying to get an apartment. And as we're leaving, I said to him, I'm claiming this place in the name of Jesus. And he goes, huh. And I said, yeah, that is what God is going to use to prove to you that he is very much real and he is very much in the miracle working business. Okay. So we go on. I don't say anything about it ever again. I don't chastise him for saying, nothing. Would you believe that pretty much within 24 to 48 hours of filling out that application, the proprietors call back and say, you guys have the place. And he received that phone call. I didn't receive that phone call. He received it. And so when he came home from work, he said, guess what? And I'm like, what? And he's like, we got the place. And I said, thank you, Jesus. So the sweetest part of this story is that the daughter who lived downstairs, because we moved into a duplex, the daughter who lived downstairs said that the moment she saw us, she knew we were the tenants, like we were the ones. And she explained to us we had seen so many people and it just didn't feel right. And you guys showed up and we were like, finally. Ladies and gentlemen, that is nothing but God. It wasn't about the way we were dressed. It wasn't about how pretty my face is. It wasn't about anything else but God saying, this is the place, and I'm going to put it in these people to say yes to you because it's right.
And that's why I'm encouraging you guys to practice more gratitude. I know things are tough. I know things are challenging. Things are challenging for me right at this moment. But he reminded me of all the things that he has taken me out of when I've asked, all the things that I've prayed for that I am now living in. The very apartment that I live in right now is the very thing that I prayed for so many years ago. But God had to take me on a journey to not just only constantly reminding me who he is and revealing himself to me, even in the moments where I was not even connected to him like that, like how I'm connected now. There's so many things that you can take out of this testimony. And I promise I don't want to bog y'all down with a lot of stuff, but gratitude is just the first thing that comes to mind for me. And I'm becoming so emotional about this because we all have our story. We've all gone through difficult times. And if he can take you out of those difficult times to the point that you are here today, he can take you out of whatever challenge that you're experiencing right now. You just gotta trust him and come into awareness of that. And when you come into awareness of that, the less you'll complain. And yes, the enemy is running rampant and always trying to throw little obstacles in our way. But I want you to stay grounded in the fact that he took me out of that. He can take me out of this. So there is actually more to share about this testimony. So if you want to hear part 2, just write part 2 in the comments. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I kept saying my ex, my ex, my ex. So the story continues and also does the gratitude. And if you're willing to hear how we can practice gratitude and how gratitude can be reciprocated to us, then again, put part 2 in the comments and I will definitely share with you the second part of this testimony. So here we are, part 2, and this now involves my ex. And if you're looking for a story where I'm about to tear this man down, this is the wrong one for you. Again, we're still going in the road on the path of gratitude. But at the time, we were in the apartment that God blessed us with in part 1. But just the environment was just not right. And when I mean the environment, I meant, you know, our relationship as a couple, as 2 brand new parents. You know, side note, people, raising children is very challenging. But I digress. Listen, just to cut a long story short, we weren't getting along. We weren't agreeing. I was just so incredibly unhappy. I spent so much time crying. And in a lot of ways felt like I was alone, even though I wasn't physically alone, all the things. And so, you know, I just, again, turned to God like, well, hold on a second. You blessed us with this place. We've got great proprietors underneath us. They don't complain about anything. Like, why is it still that there's some type of friction, and why can't we just work through this stuff? And so ultimately, it wasn't an environment that I wanted to stay in. And in so many ways, also God just, he didn't co-sign this relationship, first of all. Okay, let's go there. But may I remind you, I was not connected to God in that way. Even though he was doing things for us, I did not have that relationship with him the way I have it now. And so, but I still turned to him to ask pivotal questions. And so I just was confused as to why the right place, but the wrong environment, if you will.
And it was something that I realized too. I don't want to raise my daughter in an environment where her parents are constantly arguing all the time, because that's what I lived. And so he got it to a point where it became so uncomfortable that, again, we ended the relationship, and I had to leave and take my baby with me. And so this is, again, where God reveals to me how loving he is, and also how quickly he can move in your life if you stay out of the way. Okay, so the sweet part of this story is this. Maybe about 10, probably 15 years prior to that time, I had applied to this program to receive affordable housing. And everybody that applies is put on a waiting list. And based on your personal situation compared to the other applicants, you were put in a different, scale on this waiting list. So some people had, higher priority than you. Let me tell you, I was one of those people who fell to pretty much the bottom of the list at the time that I had applied. But now fast forward to present time, where I need to look for a place. I have my baby girl, and I'm trying to figure things out. There's a lot of other different elements that were playing in the background. Financially, limited resources. I thought to myself, I know I need to leave, but where am I going to go? I can't even begin to think about where I was going to go. And before I could even think about searching for an apartment, this company who has this program called me. Now, let me tell y'all something about the fact that they contacted me. When I first applied, I had a particular phone number. That phone number no longer existed, but yet they were able to find me and call me and ask me if I was still interested in looking for housing. Y'all, don't tell me that this was just a stroke of luck or coincidence. This was God once again proving to me that if you trust me, I will do it. I will make it happen. If you believe and surrender, I will make it happen. I took you out of that situation. I can take you out of this one. Just trust me. So, without going through all the details and really just trying to cut it short, I ended up in this very place right now that you see me in. So I absolutely know that I'm in transition, because this place that I'm in, though I am grateful to be in it, I know this is not the final destination for me. But it's just showing evidence of what it means to trust God. And so for the time that I've been here, is probably going on 7 years, nothing bad has happened to me. And that's because of God's grace. Though may things form to happen, they do not prosper. So I don't want to go into detail about a lot of the craziness that happens in this neighborhood and everything like that, but God has a hedge of protection around me and around my daughter and around this apartment. And then the other blessing that comes along with that is that despite our relationship not working out, we are still able to have an amicable relationship. We're still able to co-parent efficiently. My daughter is very much aware that both of her parents love her. She has never seen us argue. She has never seen us throw hands, and I wouldn't even dare to think to do that, nor would he. But all the things that a lot of different people are dealing with, I do not experience. And it's not to brag, it's just to say how God has us covered. And he has us covered because even though Weapons may form, they do not prosper. And every now and then, I get like y'all too. You know, I could get busy with my day, busy with all the distractions, busy with what I think needs to happen in the future, that sometimes I don't stop to give him gratitude, but I give him gratitude anyway. And even when things are brought to really just rattle me or throw me off of my path, I got to keep reminding myself, this is only a pit stop. God has greater things for you. So continue to practice gratitude. Continue to give God thanks, because it's in that gratitude that he will continue to bless you. And sometimes the blessing may look a little bit odd, but he needs to move you incrementally to where you need to go, because along the way, he wants to remind you who he is.